Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Wild Woman Podcast. I have a really interesting guest with me today. Alice Luthien is her name. She's going to tell us her story and what has led her to be a crystal and energy healer, which is what she does for a living today. She does many things, and she's based in Ennis in the west coast of Ireland. But what I just want to say before I ask Alice, how this all started, I was very interested when I was reading a little bit about her background and how it sort of goes back to a very, very young age, these gifts and abilities she discovered, I think around the age of maybe 4, 5, 6,
10,
maybe, 10. And what it really reminded me, I went out for a walk today and I was thinking about this evening, and I thought back to when I was a child, 3, 4, 5, and it sort of reminded me, because particularly now I notice it in my life, that a lot of our natural gifts and abilities are there at a very young age,
yeah,
and
they actually show in a very young age.
don't they? And
And
then
then
through life,
that's
we
it.
often close them down. So it's just a word of a just a little guidance maybe I might share, just is, if you're a little bit lost at the moment or wondering what it is you're here to do or who to be, I think it's always a good idea to reconnect as best you can with the
That's it. And
child.
it's actually amazing how many different teachers we meet through our life.
Yes.
Like my story really started with when I was about 10. In our town, there was a crystal healer.
Mm-hmm.
And she was very good at what she did. Like she was quite amazing, and she had a lot of respect among all the people, and she was able to heal people with crystals, with energies. She was also reading cards and angel cards. So anyone that had issues, you know, in their families, they used to go to her, seeking help, seeking advice. She was just simply a very wise woman that you could go to. And I remember when I was just 10 years old, I found that little kitten on the road, and it was obviously all, it had a little accident, and so we took it to the vet and we started to heal it with all the medication and so on. We took it as our own. And well, the kitten was healed, right? After the visit to the vet and the 3 weeks of that kind of a therapy, he was feeling okay, but he was still kind of depressed all the time. And you could see he wasn't right. So what I did, actually, we took him and we went to that. Her name is actually Emily. She passed away good few years now. But so we took her to Emily, and she started to work her magic with the crystals on the little kitten and with her hands as well, with energy healings. So that was, for a 10-year-old, it was highly fascinating. I said, oh my God, what is she doing? I really want to learn. I really want to know what is she doing? Like, how is she channeling those energies? And she looked at me, and I kept asking questions. So I think we went to like 3 sessions with the little kitten. And just after that one session, the next evening, you could actually feel and see massive change in him. And now I know myself, because I do healings on animals as well, like horses or dogs or cats, even, like, not only on humans. And I have noticed how, maybe easy isn't the word, but how quick they change, how quick you can balance their energies, and how quick they can pick up. It works so much faster than on humans, the energy
Oh.
healings. So what happened then? Emily actually she spotted the gift in me and the fascination, and she started to teach me. So she was, from the age of 10, she started to show me different ways. She started to show me, she gave me some of the stones that I still have today and that I still use on during my healing sessions with people. So, for example, this beautiful, I don't know if you can see it, I'll just bring it
Yes.
closer. Tiger's eye, beautiful, beautiful
Tigers.
stone, amazing energy. It gives you so much courage, and it gives you so much, like, I've worked with it for so many years now, okay,
Mm.
and it's also protective. highly protective stone.
She gave
so
you
like,
that stone, did she?
Yeah, she gave me that stone.
And how would you work? So when you say they're not the tiger's eye, and I've heard of it, it gives you strength and courage. How, for example, okay, you use them in your healing, which we might talk about because I had a healing session with you. I've had two, and how that, how that works and how you work with energy and all of that. I'm really interested in it with humans and with animals. But just in terms of the stone there, the crystal. So if I was coming to you and you recommended and said, Celine, look, a tiger's eye would be really good for courage, how would you suggest I use it then? Just to hold it, keep it close?
You can hold it even, or imagine that. For example, I had one lady coming to me, and she was going to have an interview, like very important job interview. And I said, look, just take the stone and hold it in your hands. Keep imagining that you go through that interview smoothly, that everything goes to your plan, and that energy will kind of radiate from that stone and will just heal you. They do heal in so many different ways.
Can
Actually,
you
crystals.
explain? Yeah, can you talk a little bit about crystals for someone who might be listening and saying that's just a stone and doesn't know anything about crystals? I mean, I have my own collection of, I can't say I'm hugely knowledgeable, but I definitely feel the qualities of them. So can you just talk a little bit about that?
Like every crystal has a different frequency and different energy. So even I know there are some measurements of it as well. Like they have different frequencies. They have different aura colors as well. So they work on us in a different way. So for example, the tiger's eye, it gives you kind of a courage, it gives you kind of a protection as well. It's sometimes when you feel what you feel as well. Sometimes I never went by the Bible, the crystal Bible or anything like that. I just feel the crystal and I can feel it, how powerful it is. Does it resonate with me? Is it going to help my clients? Is it going to help me? And among 10 or 20 crystals, I might pick one and say, yes, that's it. And sometimes there's 100 crystals and I don't feel that any of them resonates with me in any way, and I'm not getting anything. So it all depends really. So like the other one is, for example, very interesting. This one I got from a different teacher in my life. That one I've got from Mark Bayersky. I don't know, you probably heard about
I've
him
heard of
as
Mark
well.
Bajersky,
Amazing
yes.
teacher, another teacher in my life. And he gave me this little malachite there, the green one as well.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Which I always wear this one during my healing sessions with clients. It empowers me. And whenever I feel low and question things, this is the stone that I actually wear, and it kind of gives me boost and gives me the belief in what I'm doing, so this is very important to me.
It's malachite. Is it just for
Malachite,
anyone who might be listening
malachite.
and not watching, just so you know the names?
Yes.
Malachite.
So malachite is the kind of a stone of transformation. It's kind of a deep energy cleaning as well, and it brings healing and positive transformation to whoever wears it, right? It stimulates the heart chakra, and it's absorbing a lot of negative energies from the body and from the environment you may be.
So would you say that the crystal? Okay, because you know the way with the different chakras, there's different parts of our body hold different frequencies as far as I understand it. So your heart,
that's it.
Say if it has a certain because I have sound healing bowls, I think like you do, and each is tuned to the frequency of that chakra. So I'm imagining the crystals are the same. Are they that they have a particular frequency that works
absolutely
with whichever part of the body?
Yes.
So the throat, for example, where I've often had a lot of issues as well, and here I am hoarse, but and about it's associated with your truth and speaking out. So what crystal would you associate? Oh, that's beautiful.
This one here, lapis lazuli.
Lapis lazuli is for the throat.
This is the one I'm using. Yes.
Okay.
This is one of the first crystals I got in Ireland.
Wow. Where do you
every crystal has a history. Every crystal that I'm using has a story. you know. So this one is amazing. It's a lapis lazuli. It has like little gold bits in it. It looks like Earth from
Yes.
space to me. So
Yeah.
it has like a little white dots and lots of
I can
gold in
see.
it. It's beautiful, yeah.
Beautiful. And so would you suggest then someone wears that around their neck,
Yeah,
or is it more that
absolutely.
you use it? Because I know when I had a session with you, I hadn't my eyes open. I was lying there, and there's a few things I want to go back again to the woman that you
Oh,
worked
yeah.
with, but just in your sessions there. So say you're saying lapis lazuli, you work on with the throat. If I'm lying there, do you just maybe take us through? So for anyone watching or listening who might be interested in reaching out to you, just learning more afterwards, how do you normally, and say, conduct a session? That sounds formal, but how do you? Because
How
I
I
know it's
start.
very intuitive. Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
actually a lot about intuition, truly.
Yeah.
So let's say if a person comes to me, right, I would usually tell them what I'm going to do from start to finish. I tell them what they might experience, especially those people that come first time.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose some people see colors, right, during the session, which is
Mm-hmm.
quite amazing. They see white, they see blue. They, depending on their chakras or the area that I'm working on, they might see loads of pink colors. There might be different types of sensations, like cold, warm, or like last person told me actually they felt like an electric shock. So it all depends on the person, truly.
Mm.
Some do get emotional, the other feel like the heaviness or the kind of a heavy energy they had around their arms or into their stomach. It just fell and went away. So I'm not only using crystals for it. If I feel any kind of a heavy energy, so I usually introduce a bit of sound as well, like rattles to push the energies away. So that's how it works. And I've to start with, I usually just chat to them, see what they feel, and then I see, do I feel the same? Do I feel the same around? Do I feel the same energies, or do I feel more as well? Um, and yeah, what else
Yeah.
there? So yes,
And they
definitely the
like, because
sound.
what
I
I
introduce a lot of
noticed,
sound. Yeah.
but I did notice with, which I really blew me away with my session with you, was the heat of your hands. I've never, and I've been to many different healers and all sorts through my life. And I was just, oh my God, it was the most beautiful feeling. I just had this great sense of someone had put a big warm, like an
Yes.
electric blanket on me. So is that something that developed obviously naturally? Was that always there, or how did that show
Yes.
itself?
I think it developed, Celine. I think it developed naturally. I always had that kind of a heat in my hands when I was a child, but I think the more you work with the energies, the more it develops.
Okay.
I remember when I was just a child, my father used to, whenever I had a headache, he was like, "Put your hands on my head, put your hands on my head." Like, and people didn't believe that much into the energy, especially
Yes.
men, as you can imagine. And he's, whenever you just put your hands on my back of my head, the headache goes. And he
At
said,
what
"It
age
doesn't
were
work
you?
for with anybody else, but with you." Oh, I was about 6 or 7 years old. And I said, "Oh yeah, sure, yeah." And I used to do little ponies on his hair and everything through it, like, so he was quite happy with that. But
And-
and then
yeah.
it kind of started to develop, and then I started to feel that whenever I work with energies, my hands kind of swell a little bit. The palms of my hands, they just swell, and I see the little white dots, lots of them coming through, and the heat is just unreal. It can be quite heavy, So
Oh,
that's
I
what
would.
happens. There was I didn't go through any initiations or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
it just
Yeah.
developed naturally. That's
Yeah.
why I call it pure energy healing,
Okay.
because that's what it is. Truly, it's pure. Like there's nothing there,
So would you
else.
say you work with sort of, I suppose, universal energy? Is that how you would describe it with, or is it just
Just with the
how
source, really.
it's with
You know,
source? Yeah,
just with
source
the source
energy.
of it.
Yes.
Yes, it's
And
not Reiki. It's not. It's just pure. Like,
yes.
it's nothing there,
Yeah.
nothing extra added.
Yeah. And if you can just go back a little bit, I'm just really interested in this. So this woman that you met when you were 10 years old, because even then, that's sort of, it's not that long ago. I mean, I know you're a bit older, but still, even, that what am I trying to say? That was that sort of seen as quite commonplace in your village, that people would go to her, or was she seen as strange? Or
She was a bit controversial, as you can
okay,
imagine.
but you found your way there at 10 years old.
I did, yes, yes. She was quite a controversial woman, actually, yes. But yeah, I was so I really wanted to help that kitten at the time. And I knew that
Mm,
he was depressed and nothing worked, like, so striking him or holding him, nothing really worked. And whatever she did with the crystals in that 15-minute session was amazing. It was back to life, it was back running and happy again. So I said, oh, I want to really learn it.
yeah, but what I
And
love
then
you
I,
talk,
I
yeah, sorry, Alice, just what I loved you talked about as well in something you wrote was yes, the kitten was healed physically, but wasn't itself. And I think that's
no,
often where, our modern medicine, as great as it is, there's still this focus very much on the
fails,
physical.
yeah. I
And
meet so many people with
yeah,
depression,
yeah,
anxiety as well,
yeah.
uh, heavy energies around them that they cannot just shake off, and they go from healer to healer, from doctor to doctor. They have a pain in their tummy, but the doctors say it's not medical. They cannot do anything about it, or the nerves, it's just they're not aligned the right way. So and after the short session, they just feel like, oh, I don't know what you did, but it worked. So
And what do you say is
that's
happening?
quite
So
amazing. It's very
yeah. How would you describe? Is it that, so if a person is depressed or anxious, I know there can be a lot of reasons, and I've been all of those things, and I think
yeah.
everybody probably has at some point, if you're human. What is it?
Oh yes,
What is
absolutely.
it that you, yes, there may be a different trigger, but what is it you see? Is it is it that their energy flow is blocked? Is their system sort of blocked, or they're suppressing? How would you, or I mean, maybe that's a
How
bit of
I
a
see it with my
generalization.
eyes, right?
Yeah.
Yes, with my intuition and with my eyes, quite often what I see is like when I place a crystal on a person, and I feel there is that depression in them. Uh, I can feel the heaviness. Sometimes even when I go around with a rattle around a person, my arms are just hurt because the energies are so heavy. Like I can actually physically feel it.
Mhm.
Feel the energy being so heavy that the rattle has a lot of work to do around that person. Like, especially at the fairs, I think my colleagues don't appreciate so much rattle around. That's what needs to be done. And quite often when I place a crystal, cleansing crystal, I have a beautiful tektite. And just show me that. It's actually in a ring because it's so special to me. So if you look at that little black tektite, some people are afraid of
Stunning.
black stones. This one is, there's not enough tektite in this world,
What's
okay,
it
for all
called?
the black energies. Tektite,
Tactite.
tektite, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So when I place that tektite on a person that is depressed, I can actually feel dark energies going into the stone. Basically, that's what's happening. It's like a moldy,
Tracks it
dark
out.
energies, like a grayish energy going to that stone, taken away. So that's how I see it. Basically, just lifted up, like from the person. And
And do
obviously,
you
I'm
ever get
cleansing
to?
my crystals. Yeah.
Yes, I was going to say, obviously. um, do you, so in that situation, if someone, as you said, came to you quite depressed, are you saying that quite quickly with one session that could be, you
it's
know,
it's
or
quite
is it a
lifted
process?
actually. I had a girl that was last year in Galway at the holistic fair. I could see, oh my God, she was so depressed. She was wearing all black clothes, like, okay, and she was hardly speaking to me or to anyone, just head down really. And she said, I might need a session. I said, okay, yeah, let's just lie down and relax. I'll do it for you. So I did the session. She was happy with it. She gave me a hug, had a little cry around me as well. No, because she enjoyed it so much. And then I met her. Was it 2 weeks ago at the holistic fair again at Galway? She came back thanking me and hugging me and all. And she was wearing all the colorful clothes, which was
Wow.
amazing. It's huge
Wow.
transformation. I said, oh my God, this is actually, it's so motivating as well to do what I'm doing. And so that was amazing. Another story actually from Galway again. Last year, was it November or October, at the holistic fair, there was a little girl, a mother came with a little girl. She was only 8 years old. And the girl had problems at school and problems with the courage and so on. So I gave her a session as well with the crystals, the sound. I gave her a little present of a tiger eye, to kind of boost her energy. And I told her, keep that little crystal in your bedroom and around your head, and think that you're strong like a tiger, and nothing can defeat you at school. You are the best. Like, you're a tiger there. You be great at all the relationships around your class and so on. So this year, 2 weeks ago, another holistic fair in Galway, the little girl came back, and not only she came back with her best friend, another 8-year-old, and they all both really wanted to have a session. And the mother thanked me, and she said that helped really a lot. Like, she's so much better at school and with her relationships in the classroom. So small things like that, and it's really hugely motivating for me. And I'm so
And
glad
that's not, yeah.
I have the privilege to showcase and to be there, because I was hiding quite a while with it, to be honest with you, here in Ireland.
Were
I
you?
was, oh yeah, for many years. So
So
I've
when
only
you
did
came
like
here 20 years ago, isn't it? You
20 years
came,
ago, yeah.
yeah. And
And I truly started only to do the healing session for different people, maybe like 2 years ago.
okay,
So
I
through
thought it was
those years,
longer.
I did healing sessions like for people, family and friends, but I never went public with it. And like 2 years ago, I said, "Oh look, I think I have to finally come out of my shell."
Yeah,
So that was it.
the right timing. And what was the first thing you did? And was that come to a holistic fair, or did you say, okay, I'm going to start advertising for
Uh,
clients? Or
it's actually happened through Rena.
mm,
Rena is a tarot teacher,
mm-hmm,
and she encouraged me as well. And she had a little room in Limerick at the time, and she said, "Come along and do a couple of healings, see how you feel about it." And that's how it started. And then I started to do holistic first as well.
yeah.
So she
Isn't
was a
it lovely
huge
to have
huge
someone to
support.
support? Yeah,
Yes.
because and
So Rena does tarot, and if you want to look her up, it's a
yes, yeah, I
Rena
interviewed her.
tarot.ie. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I interviewed her
Okay.
as well. So people can look, if you haven't seen that interview, Alice is Rena's sister. So you can also go and look. And I'm back on my channel, but also look up her website. But I think it's just what really is lovely to see. I think it's so important now because so many people are stressed or searching or confused, and there's so much going on and in people's lives that to know sometimes I can say when I was a few years ago felt very lost, and I often felt I was the only person having all these struggles because we all go around with this mask and smile on our face,
That's it.
and
Yeah.
inside we can be feeling awful, and maybe we're not able. Do you find this comes up like sometimes? I don't know that it's necessary to pinpoint maybe what was the cause. Like, do you get to that with people in your sessions, or is it even relevant to do that? Or is it just the healing?
I can often feel their emotions when I'm doing the healing, right? Uh, you just see person, but when I scan the auras, when I feel the energy fields, I can actually feel their exactly what they're, well, maybe not exactly because I don't know the story behind it, but I can feel sense the emotions they go through. Whether it's a broken heart, whether it's missing someone, whether it's a huge depression or even suicidal thoughts, I can actually feel it, like, So it's not like it's affecting me.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that way, don't get me wrong, but it's
Mm-hmm.
just I can sense it. And
Mm.
I know then what words to use, you know. So the words are just as important as the healing itself at the end of each session. So
Mm.
sometimes just one sentence can really, really help a person from turning and jumping into the river, which happened several times during the sessions for me. Like, and then after the session, I've got a text or a call. Listen, you actually helped me. and I didn't do what I wanted to do that evening, or so it's quite scary. Can be quite scary at times.
Yeah.
But sometimes just one sentence can really help. Just one hug, or
Yes.
a quick conversation even after the healing session can hugely help them.
And
So
you said, yeah, oh my God, Alice, just to even, doesn't it just show how connected we are and how important it is? Like sometimes, as you said, it is just those words, someone to say that to you. I mean, that's so, so powerful to know that it can be the simplest thing that can help people turn their lives. Or not the simplest, but, it's very powerful, but it can be something quite natural that seems almost too easy in one way, isn't it? That can hugely change someone's life.
Yeah. There's so many people suffering as well from grief at the moment. I find a lot of people that come to me, they suffer from grief. There's a lot of passing of of parents, or of grandparents, family, and so on. So it can be quite heavy. Can be quite heavy at times.
And how do you, I suppose, just as an example with grief is something that's been very, I feel that very strongly, that nothing specific has happened just yet, but I feel it around me. I feel it everywhere. It seems to be in the collective of like what you've described. Are there, and I'm always very interested in talking to different people about this, because it is sort of a process, isn't it? There is
No, it's a
no,
very long process and a very painful process.
yeah.
It's not
How does the
something that can be
healing happen?
fixed. Well, sometimes people don't see light, right? When they're grieving, they just don't see light. They feel like they're left simply by that person. There's no more light. Nothing's there. Nothing's awaiting them anymore, and it's just that pain inside as well that is crushing them. That it's physical pain.
Physical. I know.
Isn't
I
it?
felt it. It is
Yes.
so physical how
Oh my
anyone,
God.
it's it's like someone shot you through the
That's
the
it.
heart or punched you here. And it's just, it feels
Yeah.
like there's no relief. Like yeah. I think it's one of the hardest things, isn't it?
One of
We
the
go
hardest,
through.
and the heartbreak.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
special.
Which is there's always another.
Uh,
It can be when so, I know I don't want to make too much light of it, but when someone passes, they pass, even though they pass just into a different form. But with the heartbreak, and
but
it
isn't
sounds bad to
the
say you can
heartbreak?
replace them, but you can.
Isn't the heartbreak bit like a grieving as well?
It is. It is. It is.
I
I
find
can
it
say
is.
very honestly, because my marriage broke down 20 it's 20 years ago now. And it was what I think exactly as you describe, it was the hardest. It's one of the hardest thing I ever went through in my life. And also the fact that it felt like they died, but to everybody else around, it wasn't a death. So you didn't get to go
No,
through
you
that.
don't get the sorry.
No, it's just
You
like
don't
get
get the
on with your
pity.
life.
That's it.
This is
Why are you
life.
crying?
Why are you crying?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what's
Um,
happening. And I've got a lot of people actually coming with that kind of a pain in their hearts as well. And
okay.
like I feel that the sound, it changes the frequency. Even like a chat with them can give them the light as well. A lot of the times,
A
bring that
child
light
can,
back into
is
their.
it?
Sorry,
So I didn't catch that there. You said
I said sometimes just a bit of a chat with them as well,
yes.
like talking about them talking about the experience, how they feel, can actually empower them and help them and start to see the light again.
Yeah. It's a
Sometimes
lot.
a lot of the times people have no one to talk to. It's just that type of loneliness. They have no one to talk to about their feelings, or they're afraid to talk to other people about it, where inside they're actually crushed. So sometimes that simple chat can change so much. That's how I
Yeah.
feel about it.
Yeah. And you're obviously, I know from going to you, very sensitive, and it's a natural quality, because that isn't often easy. Even if we want to be there for someone who's in grief, it's I don't know, but my sense is if you're not happy or you're sad in yourself, it's very hard to be there for someone else who's sad. And it just feels like there's a lot of sad people. That's why we're not able to be there for each other,
Yeah,
because we're all sort of grieving in our own way. And yet we're
that's it.
the answer to each other's problems, really, aren't we, on some level?
Yeah. But
You
sometimes
know?
I think in life you have to go through some issues, some problems, some type of grief to be able to know that feeling, unfortunately, and to be able to help others. You
Yes.
know, I went
Yeah.
through harder, like I went through the grief as well, through all those terrible things. So I know, I can imagine how you feel, what you're going through, and I can actually be able to help you. I know the words that I wanted to hear and I didn't hear the time, or I
Mm,
know exactly, you know,
yeah.
what to say, basically.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
with
it.
that
That's how it
process,
works.
okay, just again, because I think that's so helpful. And if anyone is dealing with a lot of grief and even wants to reach out to you, I think to know that, yes, it is a process and it can be hard and it can be long, but there can be help and relief. Like, do you find when people come to you, particularly with that as an issue, that even in that session, it can lighten a little?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
hugely. I get such a beautiful reviews actually. There's so many beautiful reviews on my website as well from people that came to me that felt so much better, that felt so much better and much, much lighter after the session. I'm also doing, like, for anyone who might not like one-to-one session, I'm also doing sound baths in a groups. So I'm using crystal singing bowls that kind of align all your chakras as well. I think you're also using them, aren't you?
Not crystal, but I have these Tibetan bowls
Oh
that
yeah, excellent.
I got a number of years ago. I don't use them as much as I should, but I am sort of returning to them. But I feel them, yeah, I feel them really calling to me now for depending on how I'm feeling, which
Yes.
one to use.
Yeah.
So describe that again. Yeah, I've been to one, haven't been to one of yours yet. I will, I'm sure, get there. So people come in a group and they lie down, is it, or
Uh,
sit down?
I have actually got new lounges lately, so it's very comfy.
Lovely.
rather,
They'll never leave.
rather than lying on the floor, on the mat. I actually have a lounge and you can just sit back and relax and close your eyes. And I'm playing the singing crystal bowls. They kind of they go so deep into the chakras. They go so deep in those levels that nothing else can, basically. And even if you listen to some of the singing bowls on YouTube yourself, when you work on, when you have that half an hour spare, even when you're doing the dishes, they have such amazing healing powers. It's unreal. They're so strong, so powerful. It's beautiful too. So I'm using these. I'm using also different koshi chimes as well. Very relaxing. I find them
Oh,
amazing. I don't
yes.
know whether you heard about them.
I
Oh, I
have
have
heard.
one
You might
here.
play one there, please. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know
Yes,
if you'll
there's
be
some.
able to hear that.
Yeah, you play it. Yeah. I could
So
hear it there a moment ago and it's gone again.
can you hear it?
No, I
No,
did. I held, no, when you hold it back, I can hear it. You do that again now? Hold it back further away from you. It's funny, I heard it the further it was away. I
no.
don't know. But they are, I
Okay.
have heard
So
them. They're
that's
the
what it
most
is. That's how it
beautiful.
looks.
Yes. Yeah. So for anyone who isn't watching and you can't hear it, but say the name again, Alice.
It's a koshi chime.
Koshi chime.
Koshi chime, and
Yes.
they go in different frequencies. You have the water. It depends on the elements. I think this one is the water one that I'm using, but you have the earth one, the fire one, and wind as well.
Okay. And how
So they
does
have
each
different
one work? Yes.
there's a little crystal inside,
Yes.
actually, and it goes all around those kind of a metal bars, and it makes beautiful, relaxing sound, like. So that's what it is. So
Yeah, I've
it works on
experienced them.
crystal.
They're absolutely stunning. And is it, because I'm really interested, because everything comes back, I think, to sound and frequency. And we as human beings, or spirit in a body, as I understand, are a frequency. And I don't know, are we made up of all the different frequencies of different parts of our body? Is that how, and when we go out of balance, if we're stressed, the frequency shifts. So the sound is helping us realign. Isn't that really what's happening? It's sort of
That is
bringing
so
that back
true.
into
Yeah.
balance, just to even understand, yeah, it's
And then I
happening.
have a beautiful what I'm using during the sound baths. I'm using the forks, tuning forks. I don't think many people heard about them, but that's how they look. And they
Yes,
have a
yeah,
different frequencies as well, this one, for example, the yellow one is a solar plexus, and the frequency on that is 126 hertz. So it aligns with your solar plexus chakra.
okay,
And they're amazing tools because they align the chakras so fast as well. It's like I just go, you just listen to the sound. You won't be able to listen to hear that now, but
yes,
I just strike these and you listen to the sound, and it basically the frequency aligns the chakra beautifully. Then I go all around your body with it as well, a couple of times, just to align your aura to the right frequency again. So I have each fork for each chakra basically,
beautiful. I've
that I'm
heard of
using during
those,
the healing
beautiful.
sessions. Yeah.
So you use, is it, I'm just trying to understand this then, with each, like I have the bowl, so with each part of the body, there's a different frequency. You're using the tuning fork, or you're using the crystals, or you're using your hands. But does the overall body have what I thought, but I could be wrong on this, does the overall body then have an overall frequency? Or is it each part has a different frequency?
Uh,
You know, does
I
our
think the
energy fields have an
chakras, they
overall
have
frequency?
different chakras, they have different frequencies, and in order to be aligned, they do need a different level of frequency. That's what's happening. But I don't know whether you've noticed on YouTube, you can often find the music
Yes,
with
I
different
listen to it.
healing frequencies. Yeah,
Yes.
they're amazing, aren't they?
Yeah. Every time I
They help
work,
me so
every
much through life.
time, exactly. Every time I'm on a computer, I would recommend it to anyone doing anything, sending emails, usually things you probably don't want to be doing. But I constantly, on another tab on YouTube, I just pick a particular frequency I feel drawn to, obviously a higher frequency, the 432 or the 586 or the 99. There's many, aren't there? Or is
Absolutely.
there
I,
any
I
particular
encourage
one?
everybody to listen to the healing sounds.
Yeah.
Really. It helps so much, even half an hour, 20 minutes per day. To start with, and then even when I work, I listen to it.
Say,
So it's
yes.
quite amazing,
Okay.
It helped me so much, even through passing my exams.
Yes.
Even for concentration,
Yeah.
you can find a lot of concentration music with specific frequency, which really helps you, to keep your focus for so much longer than you
Yeah.
usually would. So
But is
definitely
the message
hugely.
and all okay? Thank you. Yeah, that's really good advice. I definitely find that as well. Like the overall message, I just feel from as well, just listening to this is it's sort of a reminder for anyone if you're struggling or going through anything that ultimately we are energy. We are energy in a body. So unless that's my sense, you are dealing with your life or whatever is coming at you, an illness, a grief, energetically as well, it's actually quite difficult. You know what I mean, isn't it? It's sort of a, it's sort of that's the core of what's, I suppose, um, how it manifests then physically. Is that how you would
Yes,
see it? Like we
exactly.
we have to
Yeah.
go to the root of what's going on in
Whether
the
we
energy.
whether we're using crystals, whether we're using music for it, or even like aromatherapy that picks us up as well.
Yes.
I'm using all those mediums on my clients. I'm using also some aromatherapy with them, like, during the sessions. So I'm using different tools to eliminate those blockages, those, heavy energies around them, to align the chakras. And I'm using my hands as well, as you said, the heat of my hands.
Yeah, well, your hands are amazing. I mean, healing hands. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think you can sense, I could sense when I went to you that this is someone who just naturally, from a very young age, has this. There's nothing against training in different modalities, but some people don't even need that. Like it just was so obvious. This is a natural gift that you have. And
Thanks.
I could feel it very powerfully
Yeah.
after I left. There was something else beautiful as well. You shared with me the last time I went to you. If you even want to, for anyone who's watching, and if you're not watching, we'll just describe them. They're beautiful affirmation cards that you have developed. This sort of as well, doesn't it? It sort of lines up with the energy of your thoughts and your words as well, isn't it? Because if
That's it.
everything, it's just even to remember that everything we're putting out there or
That's
is
it.
energy. Yeah.
So what I've developed actually are cards, beautiful affirmation cards, and they're aligned to your chakras. So for example, for a crown chakra, we have affirmation here, for example, I am open to new ideas, I am light, I am connected to the universe. Okay.
Lovely.
And then you have the different essential oils also listed that can help you open up the chakra. So the sandalwood rose and the emotions that kind of are assigned to the crown chakra. So it's bliss, spirituality, enlightenment. Food that can help you as well on that card. It's detoxifying foods, light foods. The stones you can use or crystals that you can use to help with that chakra if it's blocked as well. So it's amethyst, clear quartz, selenite. When that chakra is harmonized, the connection to the divine spiritual awareness, okay? And when it's restricted, it's there's a lot of confusion in your life, and actually works. It actually works because I have developed that, that all that information is coming from all different sources. And I just wanted to mention thank you to Alina that helped me to develop this. Actually, graphically,
Okay.
she did an
What's
amazing
her name?
job.
Alina.
Alina, yeah.
Alina.
So that's
They
it.
are beautiful.
So, for
Do you
example,
want to
they
hold
can.
one up, Alice? Do you want?
Again?
Do you want to hold one up just to the
Yeah,
camera
yeah.
for anyone who's watching?
That's
I
a
just
heart
really,
chakra, another beautiful
yeah,
card
yeah, it's beautiful. And the
with
affirmation is at the
affirmation,
bottom. Yeah,
and that's the back of it with my little
yeah, they're
website
stunning.
there.
That's your
Okay.
website, crystalhealer.ie.
So heart chakra, for example, again, the affirmation is also very powerful. My heart is open to receive the energy of love. I radiate this essence. I walk my path with ease and grace. I'm open to love. Okay. Seems a lot. I'm giving that card a lot because I love it.
Well, I got two beautiful ones from you, a throat, and it's interesting how, this is another interesting thing I often find, when you're healing something, and throat has always been, I haven't always had problems with my throat, but expressing myself, I often would. So it's been and I had my tonsils out when I was 2 or 3. So there's sort of been a whole, journey with it throughout my life. But I found it very interesting when I got the card from you, the throat one, and also the solar plexus. I didn't get just necessarily a sore throat, but different things started to happen with my throat. And I think it's really important to say that to people, because often when I've experienced when we're healing sometimes it can be a little bit of a detox as well, can't there? There can be a clearing out,
Yeah.
and then we can think, oh my God, there's something wrong. I'm going backwards. And you're actually not going backwards. You're actually healing. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think that's often where people, and I've done it, I've started using something and then gone, no, don't do that. It's not working. It's making me worse.
No, it's often a process, really. Sometimes we need to feel worse before we feel right as well.
Yeah.
So, or we might even take more action, towards different things whenever things do feel wrong,
Yes.
But yeah, definitely that's how it works. That's how the energies, they do work.
Yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to share about the work that you do, or maybe for anyone who might be struggling, as well as, say, coming to a healer? What sort of things would you recommend people do for themselves?
Definitely, whenever you feel depressed, whenever you feel, the anxiety as well, because a lot of people do have it, or grief, reach out. Okay, reach out to other people, to whether it's a healer, whether it's a fortune teller, whether it's your friend. Okay, you just reach out. Don't be suffering by yourself. That's the main message, really. Okay, there are people that want to help, and they will help you to go through that difficult time in your life, right? there is light. There truly is light in this life, and this life is so worth living, because we don't know what's next behind that corner, like, you know, on that street. So definitely,
That's
so
beautiful.
worth
Yeah.
living.
Yeah. And I
And
could,
that,
yeah,
one
sorry.
one thing might actually happen that will, imagine what will happen. There could be just one thing coming towards you, and it's just around the corner, that can solve all your issues, you know, and you are not aware of that just yet. But keep imagining that situation, one thing that will actually solve all your problems positively, and, you know, look towards that. So
Mm,
definitely,
thank
there's
you.
light.
There
I
is
even
always light.
I have
Yeah,
a beautiful candle here
you do.
for you all, you know, to bring a bit of a light into that meeting with you as well, Celine.
Thank you.
So
Thank you so much, Alice. The just the thing on the not knowing what's around the corner, I could just even share it as well, because I was at a holistic fair. It was a number of years ago, and I was traveling and I was feeling so low about a particular situation in my life. I really was feeling so low. Like I was like, I can't continue. And I remember I had been to a healer at the holistic fair a few days before, and as I was leaving me, he handed me his business card, or his card, which I thought, often that isn't what happens. And he just said, you can call me. And I was still looking like, why would I want to call him? And luckily I stopped. I was in the car park and I pulled out the card and I rang. And just what you've described there, what he kept saying to me on the phone, because it was just on a phone call and I was so low and I had to drive home. And he kept saying, the sun always, it sounds sort of very simple, but it really made the difference to me. He said the sun always rises after the darkness, always. And, you know, he was trying to say that there is always light, even though it doesn't feel like it now. He was just trying to say to me to hold on, just hold on.
that's
And
it.
even those few words he said to me, "You're not alone," I felt so alone. And I think this is what happens when we end up in very low places. We often end up in them because maybe we've isolated ourselves. Maybe we are genuinely alone. And it even makes it harder. But like you said, we're not, even if you've to reach, not even, but whoever you need to reach out to, if there isn't a friend, if there isn't a family member, there's someone like a healer, like you, a tarot reader, a counselor, a psychotherapist, there's loads of people,
That's it. There's
professionals as
loads of
well.
help.
Even if you
You
can't,
know.
find someone, maybe a friend who's able to, because sometimes people are going through a lot themselves. So that's really, 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 thank you for sharing that, Alice, as well, because that's really important for people to know.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So
light. There's a lot of light in this world.
there is a lot of light. We focus a lot on the darkness, don't we? And as the light is going down, I think the sun is going down where you are. The sun is going down here because I can see the room getting a little, but there's
It's
always
gone
light.
darker.
Yeah. So thank you for, we'll unless there's something else you'd like to share, we'll draw to a close. Is there anything
Wrap
else you
up.
would
Yeah.
like people to know? Okay. Yeah.
I think that's it.
You're good
Really.
with
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Thank you
So
so
it's
much for listening.
No, it's very interesting to hear your story. I think it just reminded me again, the clues are often in going back to our childhood, particularly when we're feeling
That's
very
it.
down and purposeless in our life. Try and remember the joyful moments of what you did when you weren't really meant to be, you didn't have to be doing anything other than being a child. What did you naturally turn to? Would you
That's
do?
it. And I mean,
Yeah.
I've mentioned only 2 teachers, but there was many, many more in my life.
Okay.
You know, worth mentioning as well. But I don't think we have enough time for all
No,
of it.
no,
But
we
like,
can
there
mention.
was
Yeah.
there was quite a lot of people that I knew that told me different things as well. As we go through life, you know, it's like a puzzle. We don't think at the time that it makes sense, but at the end, it somehow comes together, and suddenly all those little pieces come together and say, "Oh yeah, so that's why I learned this. So that's why someone told me that sentence. Now it's all coming together. Now it's making finally sense." So
Yeah.
that's how it was for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Me
sometimes we
too.
don't really see the full picture.
No, I don't think we ever do. I always say now, and and I feel it in my heart and soul, life is always happening for me. that doesn't mean it isn't sad at times and difficult and hard, because it is, but it is all part of the overall puzzle that we never, like, I don't know about you, but some of the most difficult times of my life have taught me so much. I couldn't have gone on to do the things I did after if I hadn't maybe got stronger or learned something through a particular experience.
That's it.
Yeah. So say the name of your website again, Alice. Just
crystalhealer.ie.
crystalhealer.ie.
Yeah.
I put all of your information in the description box here, and also on Spotify. Do you do healings in distance via
I also do them. Yes, I can do them. I've done some for clients internationally in Canada, in USA, in England as well. So quite recently, actually.
Okay.
So yes, definitely, and they work. They
do. I know, because
Yeah,
I've had
they work
healings.
just as well. Yes.
Don't they? Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much.
It's energy, really. So thank you so much, and thank you everybody for listening. And remember, there is light. There is a lot of light. Reach out to people.
That's a lovely message to leave on. Thank you so much. Everyone, for listening as well, and thank you, Alice, and see you the next time.